Okay, I think I'm live. Hello, hello. Hey YouTube, what's up? It's Friday. I'm here. I did one Monday, I did one Wednesday, and now it's Friday, and I'm doing another live stream. Trying to stick with this plan, see where it's going. Trying to walk down the path as it unfolds. There's one person here. There's always like at least one person that shows up, which is honestly pretty surprising. The one person that's here, if you want to drop a comment, say hey, let me know if you can hear me. Yeah. So first things first, I want to show this video of me on the news, and then I want to talk about the news a little bit. I want to talk about something I say in this clip that I think is kind of interesting. So let me see if I can make this news clip play. Here we go.
Tonight's cover story, all that jazz. So the pandemic brought down the curtain on live concerts. It left musicians without a place to play.
But as WGN's Mike Lowe found out, some creative artists in Old Town decided to take the beat to the streets.
So we're on Eugenie Street. It's a really quaint, quiet street. It's got a serene kind of quality to it.
William Shakespeare wrote, "All the world's a stage."
We're in my living room in a garden floor unit in Old Town.
But out-of-work musician Danny Bauer discovered he could search the whole world,
Trying to find a spot to play, and I was driving around the city. I was going to some grocery stores and asking managers if they needed music and stuff, and they all shut me down.
only to realize what he thought was missing
I was just like, where could I have a gig?
was in front of him the whole time.
And I pulled up and I looked at my porch, and I just saw just this stage.
So with the pandemic pulling the plug on performances, he and his buddy Jack Macklin
They hear it up on the 40th floor. And
decided they would play curbside concerts in the open air, socially distanced, with a rotating cast of musicians who were all looking for gigs.
I play piano, my buddy Jack plays guitar, and we'll have an upright bass player.
Larry Cohen, a top-tier musician who typically plays in Broadway orchestras, on records, and in concert,
I'm playing bass here today with these guys.
today brings the bass and his own bar stool.
Our industry is up for grabs, and you know, this is old-fashioned busking in a way.
I've never been in love before. B flat.
And in a snap,
3.
the music starts and the sleepy street comes alive. There is a certain joy in the craft. The fingers bouncing off the bass, caressing the keys, and sliding on strings. It's almost irresistible.
It's just an outstanding idea.
Even a puppy's ears perk up.
We start playing, and it's like people just kind of come out of the shadows, and all of a sudden it's a big block party.
You can't blame the audience for wanting to drink it in.
they play great music, and the neighborhood really appreciates it.
They're reclaiming what's been lost, a sense of community and collective experience.
It's like people need live music, and we've provided it.
Even the reluctant ones listen for a moment, and soon the legs twitch, the shoulder dips, and it's the toddler's twist.
It's really nice to see little kids dancing. Everyone's out here having a good time.
And they say the best part? It's the street's little secret.
It's by word of mouth. We are both totally off of social media.
Somehow, in the shadow of the Sears,
You feel like you're in a little neighborhood.
though they sometimes compete with the sounds of the street. This free live music
We created something consistent for people to have when nothing was consistent today.
led the Eugenie out of the bottle.
Live music is like one of the closest things to magic we have in our society, and it was something that we took for granted that we had it all the time, and then when it got taken away, people felt starved for some sort of human connection.
You know, we do it just because we love it. It's not a choice. We've been doing it our whole lives, and
Which brings us back to Shakespeare.
that's all right.
And that connection, it really does. It feeds the soul.
Who said, if music be the food of love, play on. In Old Town, Mike Lowe, WGN News.
Thank you so much.
I want to go right now. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love jazz too. Oh, he sounded great.
Somewhere Miles Davis is smiling.
That's right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that was that. I hope that showed and everything was cool there. But yeah, so that aired on the news last night. Pretty cool stuff. So a couple thoughts I had. I think that it says there's 2 people now. Hello, both of you. Thanks for being here. So that aired on the news last night. So I watched the local news, obviously, to catch it live. And I started watching at 9, and it didn't go on until probably around 10. I can't remember exactly what time, but it was just crazy seeing like all this stuff on the news. It's like, why do people watch the news? If you're one who watches the news a whole bunch, like seriously think about like what you're putting into your mind. I'm going to bring up this Think and Grow Rich book again. And a really big premise he has in this book is just that we are what our mind, like we are just the culmination of our thoughts and the power of the thoughts. And I think if you're putting like one of my professors in school would say crap in, crap out back in undergrad, and if you're putting just like into your mind these images that come from the news, which are like lots of stuff about like death and disease now and suffering and all this bad stuff, like you're gonna think the world is not a great place. And I'm so glad that they did this story on Us that's like a happy feel-good story. First of all, I'm grateful to have the press from that. I think I can use that to get some other gigs and make some cool moves from it. But also, it was just kind of like a palate cleanser from like the other stories in the news were about these shootings and these people dying. And they had this woman on who's like a Catholic school teacher, and she was being interviewed by them, and she's so scared about the schools opening up and the students not being able to be 6 feet apart and all this stuff. And I just, I play on my porch every night, and 100 to 200 people show up every night. And I always go around with the tip jar. I say hi to everyone. Some people shake my hand. I always shake people's hands if they want to. I never try to force that on anyone, though. And nobody's getting sick. As far as I can tell, I'm not sick. None of my bandmates ever get sick. Lots of old people who are kind of super scared decide to come anyways, and they tough it out and they don't get sick. So yeah, it's just I just think if you're watching the news, I would strongly encourage you to think about what you're feeding your soul. And like if what you're feeding your soul is like stuff on TV that makes you scared, either the news or even like shows where there's lots of death and killing and all sorts of stuff, I would urge you to try and figure out other things to feed into your brain. You can read books or just interacting with people. In this book, in this chapter, The Mystery of Sex Transmutation, he talks about the 10 things that can stimulate your brain to a higher level. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, here it is. So what does it say? The 10 mind stimuli. The human mind responds to stimuli, through which may be keyed up to high rates of vibration, known as enthusiasm, creative imagination, intense desires, etc. The stimuli to which the mind responds most freely are, and this is in order from most to least, I think. 1. The desire for sex expression. 2. Love. 3. A burning desire for fame, power, financial gain, or money. 4. Music. 5. Friendship between either those of the same sex or those of the opposite sex. 6. A mastermind alliance based upon the harmony of 2 or more people who ally themselves for the spiritual or temporal advancement. 7. Mutual suffering such as that experienced by people who are persecuted. 8. Autosuggestion. 9. Fear. 10. Narcotics and alcohol. So he's got this list of 10 stimuli that can make your brain really vibrate at a higher level, and he's kind of arguing that tapping into these stimuli will help you to be extra creative and have some extra foresight and insight and tap into the infinite intelligence. And yeah, I just think what's interesting on this list of things right here, you know, music is number 4, and I've been playing that every day, and I just think the happiness of people after the show is just like off the charts, and people are so grateful for this. And if we weren't doing this, they'd be sitting at home watching the news or watching TV shows with a lot of violence and kind of trauma. So yeah, I just want to say that about the news real quick. It's I just think be careful what you're putting into your brain, because you can really mess yourself up, I guess. So yeah, I wanted to say on that news story though, I said they have me saying, actually they have it written down. Let me see if I can read it exactly what I said. I said that I think live music is one of the closest things to magic we have in our society. And I just said something about how it got taken away from us and how we were all taking it for granted, and now we're realizing like how important it is and how hard things get when it goes away. Oh no.
Facts, not opinion.
So I think a lot of people have this like material view of the world where everything is just as we see it, and you know, we have this like definitely this big appeal to science where it's like, oh, if there's a study that says this, then we know that's true, and if our senses tell us a thing, it's true, and we can empirically figure everything out. But we don't actually act that way, and there's a lot of stuff in our world that is not empirically obvious and doesn't come to us through our senses. And I think like being a musician for as long as I've been a musician and playing thousands and thousands of shows and playing some shows that were just like whatever, and playing a number of shows that like you could feel something metaphysically change. I just know that there's stuff in the ether in our world around us that is not really tangible, that's difficult to tap into and difficult to understand. And I think we keep kind of appealing to just like, oh, this is what data says, this is what facts say, this is all this stuff, instead of just like tapping into a more spiritual part of things. And I think, man, I thought I was more organized this before I started this thing, but this is difficult, but that's okay. I'm going to get better at this. This book that I've been reading, he's really talking about how there's like a lot in the ether that we don't really understand, and just the power of our mind and the power of, you know, he talks about the sixth sense, where we can use, where people can tap into a thing where they can, you know, have premonitions about events or see a deeper insight into something that other people don't see. And I think if we all humble ourselves a little bit and take note of a level of infinite intelligence that I would call God, that is existent and is the driving force behind everything. I said this last time, but I think in this book he talks about this a whole bunch. I think a lot of people think about the image of God as being like, you know, a man in a sky, and we're made in the image of God, and it sounds like this like caveman thing. It's like, oh, we look like this. Must be big guy up there who looks like us. We listen to what he say. And it's just so like, I thought I was smart when I was 15, and I was like, yeah, that's stupid. I don't think that. But it's not actually a very smart thing to say. And I'm not saying you're not smart if you've thought that, but I think you should really think about this way deeper. And I think it's more, I love how in Napoleon Hill's book he says he calls God the infinite intelligence, and he talks about how we can tap into that. And I think the image of God, it's more about our minds are made as an image of God's mind, but we are constrained to time and space, so we don't have an infinite intelligence that can see every moment. But through the Holy Spirit we can tap into that infinite intelligence. And so that's where things like prayer and like where he talks about just having an intense desire for something can really is really where great things happen, and where people who have accomplished really great things do it through faith and through intense desire. So I think the music I've been doing on these porches has been awesome. I had an intense desire back in March and April with a mastermind group, which was me and Jack. We had an intense desire to play music for people. We were determined to play shows. We weren't just going to sit and wait for somebody to tell us when we were allowed to play shows. We decided we're going to figure out how to play music for people. And we met up every night and played music every night and talked about it every night and really believed we could do it and had this intense burning to make it happen. And then it exploded in a way we couldn't imagine. It's been over 100 shows on my porch, and dozen-ish shows elsewhere too. And we've played for thousands of people at this point, and I think we've already made a ton of money. I think a huge windfall is coming in, especially from this news story and the fact that we're coming to the end of this. It's culminating into something really cool. And yeah, I just like the magic of music has just become more and more apparent. I think I said this before. When I fell and I hurt my tailbone, the first day I played for an hour and a half, and after I was done, I was completely healed. And there are, scientific studies and stuff that prove the healing power of music, but I don't need to appeal to any of that stuff. That's just men in white coats who get paid to write papers. Like, they could be accurate or they could not. They're just as fallen as you and me. They have agendas just like you and I do. I know as a musician, when you play a show, when I've played shows and I felt like I left my body, and after the show is done, there's me and a group of people on stage just wiggling our fingers in time, and then there's people in the audience standing there and watching, and after we're done, there's some spiritual elevation. Everybody feels lifted to a new place, and people will come up to me and go, "Man, that was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. That changed my life." Like, that doesn't mean nothing. And again, one of these things that smart people I know say this thinking they're sounding smart. They go, "Oh, it's just like chemical reactions in the brain, man. Just chemicals in the brain. Like music just makes the brain respond in a certain way. We have chemicals react." And that's one of those things where when you say it, it's like you think you sound smart. You're saying chemical reactions in the brain. It's like, yeah, I'm super smart. I went to college. But that sentence is so weak. It doesn't really mean anything. You could say that about anything and reduce every experience to chemical reactions in the brain. And then you don't have a justification for anything, love, it's just chemical reactions in the brain. Oh, being hungry, it's just chemical reactions in the brain, And then it's like, why would you not just sit around and play video games all day? You're just trying to make the chemical reactions in your brain make you feel good. What does it matter? But people know that there's these higher order things that aren't material, like love, like passion, like desire. And music is like one of these ways to tap into it that's so universal. And just from these shows, from where everything's been shut down and all these businesses are super dumb, it's so stupid to go into these places and have some little 17-year-old weasel boy, "Excuse me, sir, you have to wear a mask or else I'm going to get in trouble." And it's just silly. And I think a lot of people know it's silly. And but people are afraid to be ostracized, to be uncomfortable, or to look like they're throwing a fit or anything. So doing this thing where we're just playing on the street, people can come. Lots of people don't wear masks. Some people do, whatever. And people feel safe. This music literally creates an aura of safety around the street for the people who come. And it's just been really amazing, and it's doubled down on my faith in a divine creator, in God, who's guiding my life. And as I've tried to walk in his path more blessings have come to me. And I think that a lot of people think about faith as being like an archaic thing, but place so much faith in these masks and place faith in these scientists and place faith in these talking heads on the TV and stuff. And I'm just trying to not place my faith in any of these man-made things, because they all fall. They're all susceptible to deception and corruption. And it's not to say I don't take advice from men who I think are wise and counsel from people I trust, but I'm just like reluctant to trust that when the CDC says masks don't work, and then they do work, and then they don't work, and they do work, and then they say somebody could be asymptomatic with a virus and all this stuff. There's just so many holes in this whole thing. And then you see all these companies, multi-million, multi-billion-dollar companies making all these commercials about, like, these sappy commercials about the new normal. There's something fishy about it. I think a lot of people feel that, but people are afraid to say something, because you say something, you might lose your job. You say something, you might lose some friends. And, oh no, coronavirus. I just think, from what I've done this summer, from my real-world tactile experience of the people around me, not stuff I'm learning from screens, not facts I'm reading on a page from men, from scientists, like, I just see that people are meant to communicate and love each other, and if we just are a little more brave and not afraid of death from just things the screens tell us are going to kill us, like, people's lives could get so much better. And I just like feel for all these like little kids who are forced to wear these masks. They don't know what's going on, and I don't think the masks are doing anything. And I'm not here to say shame on you if you put a mask on your kid, because I have friends who have kids who think put masks on their kids, and I know they're just trying to do what they think is right. And I'm not gonna sit there and yell at them and tell them that they're muzzling their kids and they're a monster, but I am trying to extend some compassion and say, like, look, I think we need to not do this. And especially if you're in a big city like Chicago, like, there's going to be people who are going to shame you. I have old ladies probably once a week give me nasty looks and try to make me wear a mask, and I just laugh and smile back at them. It just makes my smile twice as big, because that's definitely one of my superpowers, I think. It's like, you need to wear a mask. It's like, oh no, then people can't see my smile. And that's a funny thing to say. People are just like, ooh, they don't know how to respond to that. Like, no, you should hide your smile. And yeah, it's just silly. I don't think the masks are polite. I think that's a trick. And I think that smiling is polite. And walking down the street and just saying, I trust you. I don't think you're a virus. I don't think I'm a virus. You are a human. You are made in the image of God. You are divine, and I love you and I trust you and I'm not afraid of you, is how I want to live my life. And some people don't like that at all. Some people are mad that you would try and take their fear away from them, but I don't know. So yeah, I think this is a little shorter. I obviously didn't set up my keyboard. I have to go, I don't have to, I have an appointment with playing some music with some friends here in a little bit, so I didn't want to set up my keyboard just to tear it down again, take it over there, set it up, and then we're playing tonight. So playing the show tonight, we've got an awesome singer with us. Her name's Alyssa Allgood. I'm very optimistic about the future of this. As I said in the stream the other day, I've written down my statement from the Think and Grow Rich book. It talks about have a desire for a large amount of money, and I feel like $20,000 is going to show up in my life before September 1st, which is like 16, 17 days away. But, you know, our Venmo, the @Danny-Bauer Venmo just showed up on the news, and with this show showing up on the news, and I think someone with a lot of money might show up and go, yeah, this is amazing. I'm so glad you've done this. And just recognize the magic of music, and maybe it's a man who is a man of God, and we'll see each other and come together on that level, and he'll be worth millions of dollars. So $20K is just like, whatever, write me a check or send me a Venmo. Or I think I might come in with a couple cascades over the next 2 weeks, where I guess 2 weeks and 3 days ish, where it's going to be like $1,000 here, $500 there, $500 there, $1,000 here, $2,000, maybe one big $5,000 one. But I think it's going to happen. I believe it will, and I'm trying to live out the principles of this book. And part of what he talks about is to have a plan and go with your plan. So right now my plan is do these shows, keep teaching lessons, keep sharing music with people, and I'm also trying to do, it's basically like an open diary right here. And I think I've wanted to do this open diary for a while, but I've been afraid of repercussions that might come from it. But I don't know. If things go sideways from this, or if I do this a while and it's feeling like it's not the plan anymore, I'll change courses. And that's what he says, you know. Lots of plans fail, but not having a plan is like the biggest failure. But yeah, that's all I got for today. So thanks for being here. Looks like 5 people accidentally clicked on this. Or they watched more of it, I don't know. And one person I think stayed here for the whole time. So thank you for being here, everyone who watched this. If this is inspiring to you, like, drop a comment, let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys think. And if you want someone else to see this, if this has moved you and you think you could move someone else, send this to someone. And yeah, have a great day. Be smart. Be safe. Don't wear a mask if you think this thing is nonsense. And I'll catch you next time.